Hello everybody, this is part 2 of the first week of my posts on my blog called What is Love? And what I wanted to continue on, I forgot to mention for the first one, part 1, is I want to expand my thoughts on self-love. And that's one of the other loves that I want to talk about through my blog. That, a lot of people only focus on, like, romantic love. That's the first thing you kind of think of when you think of love. But there's so many different other kinds of love that are so important to understand and to utilize in our lives and make sure we, have it in check, and hopefully we're spreading it around to other people, And self-love is a major thing that I just learned about actually just a couple years ago, and I think I did mention it in the part 1, right? I think I mentioned about how, if I didn't, here it is, that, my boyfriend right now, he showed me what true love really is, and taught me how to love myself. And that is one of the greatest gifts that I can even think of that I have given to myself, or anyone has ever given to me in my life. And wow, and even today, I just left home and I was talking to Chris, my boyfriend, and he showed it to me even more, just how much he loves me for our whole relationship, for 2.5 years, he's been holding these feelings in about, the struggles I've been having with myself and with just dealing with my family and trying to find myself and figuring out, do I want to keep living by the way my family wants me to live, or do I want to figure out how I want to live? And it was such a battle for me because in my culture, I'm Filipino, and it's so, it's very set on, you really don't have individuals, you really have, it's a collective culture that they don't really celebrate individuals, not like here in America, they celebrate collectivism, and especially families are stressed as so important, and you really got to dedicate yourself to your family, and you struggle and you sacrifice for your family. And in a way, like, you would think, on the surface that that's a good thing, but I'm just realizing lately, and it is through Chris, even though he's Polish, it's so funny, he understands my culture more than I do, because he researched the culture so much online, and he just opened up this new light to me about myself, or my culture, and it's amazing that most of my life, if not all of it to this point, I have been living a life that hasn't been mine. It's been controlled by my culture. It's been controlled by my family, and I never had my own beliefs, my own desires, my own goals, my own dreams. And it's been so life-altering these past couple years because Chris taught me that lesson to love yourself. And it's such a beautiful message. And from me working in the hospital and on a psychiatric unit, I have learned that is so important, especially that I just see so many people not loving themselves. It's so lacking, self-love. I think I could make that assumption in just the general population, that we're taught to, like, in society, especially here. I've lived here in America mostly all my life, and I've come to realize that, wow, people do not, even though it's really individualistic here, people really pride in just individualism but technically not really, ironically. People want to be like other people, especially our society, like the media. They portray to women especially that we have to look a certain way. We got to look like these models. We got to be this certain weight. We got to wear these certain clothes to fit in. We got to act a certain way to be popular. Especially that's a problem in high school. And people lack self-esteem. People lack self-love. They don't understand, especially they could live their whole lives never knowing who they really are or what could separate them from everybody else, what makes them unique. But all of us are unique. All of us are beautiful. All of us have talents and gifts that were given to us that no one else has. And we gotta flaunt those. And that's not what we're taught in society. But I've been learning that from Chris. I've been learning that from all these mentors of mine that I've been reading about in books, like self-motivational books, and going to seminars about just being motivated and being proud of who you are, because you have to in order to succeed in this world nowadays. You got to stand out there. You got to be different than everybody else. You can't follow the crowd, because the crowd, majority of them, aren't going anywhere. They're stuck in this hole that it is depressing. It's miserable. That that there's no hope for your future. Like someone just told me yesterday at work. Because they found out that I'm in nursing school, and they're like, oh, do you want to do that for the rest of your life? Because you better make that decision, because you're going to be having that job for until you're 65, until you retire. I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing. I'm like, 24 for the next 40 plus years? I'm going to be doing the same exact thing over and over again? No, thank you. I mean, you do it for like maybe part-time, for maybe a couple years. I mean, I would like to help people, but I've learned so much just in nursing school that I'm like, wow, I don't think I want to be doing this all my life. I think it's something like what I went through, it's leading me to something bigger. And I hope I'm starting that journey here today, with these posts that I'm doing, this website that I am building, passing on this message that I feel that I am meant to pass along, and share my compassionate heart to other people. And I've only lived 24 years of my life so far, but I have learned a lot, and I think a lot of the messages that I know now that even people who are in their 40s and 50s don't even know. And I've witnessed that a year working on the psychiatric unit, that all these wonderful people, they don't see who they are, they don't see the wonderful person that I see or I've seen. Many of them wanted to end their lives. Many of them didn't see the purpose of living. But then when I talk to them in the classes that I have, talking about, trying to educate about different topics, that they have so much to live for. They just have to sit down and appreciate everything and make a list of what they want, or what they want in life, of who they are, what makes them happy, and be reminded of that all the time. And I hope you guys listening too can do the same. Maybe if you're struggling with those things, struggling about what to be grateful for in life, or what's the purpose of living? Why are you here on this earth? Everybody has a purpose why we're here today. And I really believe in that saying, that everything happens for a reason. And throughout my life so far, that has been proven to me over and over and over again, countless times, with the people I've met, the people I've listened to, the people that I admire, the people that I meet every day. I don't even know them, they're strangers, and with listening to them tell me about their lives, everything happens for a reason. And someone taught me once that at the time, in our difficult moments of our lives, it might not seem that there's a purpose, or we think, why me, God? Why did you do this to me? Why do I have to go through this? Everybody else that I know, they've never went through this. Why do I have to go through it? Whether it's an addiction, or whether it's, you lose your job, or you go through a divorce, or sadly you lose a child, maybe through a miscarriage, or maybe hard times happen, you have to drop out of school, or things like that, like financial problems or whatever. At the time, it will seem like it doesn't have a purpose, or it's meaningless, but there's always a reason for what happens. Probably, it happened because if you survive it, or which you will, that I've heard many times people think that they wouldn't survive, but they survived, that it was meant for you to be a survivor of that event, so you can teach other people how to get through it as well. And I'm actually listening to this program by Brendon Burchard. He's a millionaire messenger, and he said that exactly that, what I just said, that we all have a message that we're meant to give to this world, and only we know how to say it in the right way, that other people can't. And we go through certain situations, like life experiences, to show people maybe a different way how to deal with that situation, or to get through it, and to overcome it. And that could be the gift that we give to the world. And you never know, you could be so successful from doing that if someone